My name is Susan Ennis. I currently live in Wichita, Kansas, and I attend Asbury Church in Wichita. Honestly, God is the one who prompted me to put in my application. The last couple weeks before the deadline, he was really kind of nudging me. And then the day of the deadline, he was like, get this in. And so I did because I want to be obedient. The perspectives I bring, probably one of the first ones would be that I was born and raised on the border of the United States, the southern border. So I have multicultural experience from birth. It doesn't faze me to talk to other people who are very different or speak a different language than me. I had the opportunity to live in Germany, the opportunity to live in Scotland, the opportunity to live a few different places in the United States. And so I don't have one generalized world view. I've had, and God has blessed me with that. He knew I had an adventurous spirit growing up. I had always wanted to live in Europe and got to receive that as a gift. And so, speaking different languages, figuring out where other people are coming from and listening to their perspectives are something that I've done throughout my lifetime. And so I think that helps because we really want to be, we don't want to say we're global in name. We want to be global. We want to be connected worldwide. And that means we're dealing with people who don't see the world the way we see the world. I'll take the first question first. One of the things about the Heartland that is so important is getting the laity involved again. That's another thing about the Global Methodist Church that I love. I'm an older pastor. I was a layperson for a long time. And I attended a lot of churches in different places that were like, well, here, let us tell you how this works. And it was always the pastor's vision. I love that we're saying to the laity, no, you're part of this vision. It's not supposed to be one over the other at all. It's supposed to be the pastor and the lay people of any congregation looking for the vision and the needs of their community around them. And so as a Global Methodist, we can be connected in prayer and living into the lordship of Jesus Christ and following the Bible and its authority. But then we can also specialize for our community. And so I really want to keep pushing that forward in General Conference 2026. That, you know, our lay people are so important to this process, and coming alongside the clergy and the clergy coming alongside them. It's a very equal partnership that we need to be looking at. The other thing that I find really important for the Heartland is we have put a lot of emphasis on get the young people in, get the young people in. And I fully support that 100%. I would love to see a real revival and rising up of 10s, teens, 20s, 30s, really hardcore for Jesus Christ. That would thrill me, but I don't want to leave us older people, and I am us, I'm part of this, behind and thinking that, well, you don't have much left to give, you don't have much left to offer. I love what Reverend Wendy Muller-Seib says about this. And it takes all of us working together. Again, it's not just the clergy, it's not just the laity, it's also not just the younger, and it's not just the older. We have a lot to share together, and we all need to come together and work effectively so that we not only support and mature together as Christians across all generations, but then we also can reach out beyond our doors, our borders, across all generations as well, because we've worked really hard to equip everyone. So then the second part of your question was how we make this more global as well, because I'm speaking from a very American viewpoint on the first part of the question. Globally, I think first is prayer. To be connected in prayer makes us so much more connected than when we do get to be face to face, when we get to gather, when we need to discuss things over Zoom. Again, we're bringing our different plans and perspectives, but we ultimately ask for God's will over everything, which is great. I'm excited and I'm hopeful like we talked about in the first question, being able to be there in Costa Rica and seeing God unify us regardless of the plans we had already come there with. There's a lot to be encouraged by, and a lot of hope out there that this is going to work, and it's going to work just fine because God has equipped us with our united vision and our technology and all this hope that we all have together. And that's going to get us a long way in becoming a real global denomination. Costa Rica it's hard to beat. Costa Rica is hard to beat when you were able to be there and see it happen before your eyes. And so I think one of the very first things we need to be open to is more revival. Let the revival come. Let the outpouring of the Holy Spirit come, because the Holy Spirit is the person of the Trinity who unites us. You know, the active power of God on earth, in us, through us, is Holy Spirit motivated. And so we need more of that. This is going to be a longer conference, and there's going to be a lot of very fine details hashed out. And so to do that efficiently and lovingly with each other, you got to let go of yourself and surrender to what the Holy Spirit is doing in that space. And then prayer is going to be essential for that. Lifting everything up before the Lord. I loved in Costa Rica how when we hit a roadblock, people would stop and pray. And then all of a sudden, everything would come back together again. And I was like, yes, this is how this is supposed to work. And then the other thing about Costa Rica is just, I've been trying to find the words for 24 hours. And it's hard to find the words, but this understanding that whoever gets to go, it was never about us. We can represent the Heartland well, we can be there together, we can look at everybody else's annual conference and embrace what they're doing there and encourage one another. But ultimately, when we come to the table and vote on these things and establish crossing our eyes and crossing our eyes, we need to establish, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, and the fine points of things, that we still need to be so surrendered. It's not about what we thought was best. It's not about what we came there with. It's about leaving all that at the very feet of Jesus and receiving his direction, his guidance, his wisdom, his will, and then moving in that, trusting that it's him, because we've all worshiped, we've all prayed together, we all can accept it. And then knowing that that's what's going to be best for our whole denomination worldwide. And I do, maybe just to finish off real quick, I have a hard time calling this a denomination. I want it to be a movement of God. I want to go beyond those definitions and terms that we've been using for so long and say, Lord, just move across the face of the earth. And how do we step in and participate in that and facilitate that where we are? Because then you take this huge, wonderful experience and you bring it back to your church and your area, and you look around and you go, well, how does this apply then to the small towns, the big cities, the rural areas in America, the rural areas in Africa? There's so much to consider as we all take that home. And so one of the things that was really beautiful about Costa Rica was how we all blessed each other at the end to go and take what we had learned and what we were establishing and use it where we are at. And so I just want to see that continue, because that's one of the greatest strengths we'll have.